Hey, I am going to build this Beast Ball Ninja JavaScript game. Yes, it's almost a JavaScript clone of Fruit Ninja game. All actions have a sound effect when the game starts, timer beeps, swords sound effects, and more. I have created this sword swish effect with sound using pure JavaScript. Be curious and stay in the video till the end. On the top left corner, we have a score and high score counter. And on the other side, game time is counting. Strike counter on the bottom right corner. Let me know your highest strike score in the comment section of the video. When we hit the black ball, the game pauses for a while and restarts itself with a countdown. Speeding up the game, and when the game is about to end, a score box pop-ups with a game over sound. Clicking on this button returns you to home and the cycle goes on. So, before we begin, let me tell you that I am the first to upload this Ball Ninja tutorial on YouTube. You won't get these beast tutorials from others. Please like, subscribe, and help me to reach 1K subscribers before this new year. Do subscribe and let's start this tutorial.
Okay.
Starting with importing the CDN link for font awesome, search Google. Copy the link tag to your head tag in HTML. Scroll to this video description to get the source code of the tutorial. Please copy the CSS code from the GitHub link in the description. We won't be doing the CSS work. Now, beginning with the HTML part. This is the title of the game. Main canvas tag with ID canvas. This will be the first page of the game when the game starts. As usual, the title of the game and the creator of the game. You must write your name here. And a play button to start the game. Also, you must add the copyright tag to your project before you add this to your resume. Please copy the CSS code from the source code in the description or you won't get this result. This is counted down for 3 seconds. We will do it soon in the JavaScript part. Starting with the JavaScript part and importing the play button and start game container. A click event listener to the play button. The canvas is visible, which means the start game container display is none. Now, let's resize this canvas. making its width and height full screen. Now, a function for counting down with a set interval in the function. Clear the interval when the second count becomes less than 0. The countdown is working fine. I will add the sound effect at the end of this tutorial. Starting with the main scripting part, creating a class function for the ball. This .x is set to get a random value using the window's inner width, and this .y is the constant window's inner height. I try to explain the concept in this tutorial as possible. Also, you can join my new Discord server. I will personally help you with your programming issues and problems. Link in description. Size and color are random values. Speed y will be 10, and speed x is a random value. An update function to update the position of the ball. This .y will decrease by the speed y. You will get the concept clear when the ball will render on the screen. Decreasing the speed y by 0.1 to get the ball back on the bottom when reached a height. A draw function to render the ball on the canvas. Now, create a ball array to store all the balls in this array and render on the canvas using a render ball function. This function will use for loop for the balls array. Draw and update the ball. And a condition to splice the ball from the array when the ball gets back to the bottom. Now, an animate function for the game. And call this animate function when the countdown is over. Use setTimeout for this. Push a new ball in the ball array to render. The ball gets back to the bottom after reaching a height. Here's the concept. Suppose your screen height is 750. This dot y gets decreasing by speed y and hence balls goes up. And the ball y position goes on decreasing as we scripted here. And when the speed y becomes 0, it adds the value to the y position of the ball, and hence the ball gets back to the bottom. Hope you have understood the logic. Now, let's start with detecting the collision between the ball and the mouse position. Create two variables of mouse x and mouse y. I will show the sword swish effect in the end when the game is about to complete. A mouse move event listener to the canvas to set the mouse x and mouse y value. Now console log the value to test the program. Working well. Using math.hypot to detect the collision of the ball and mouse positions. Now, subtract the distance value from the size of the ball. If the value is less than 1, then the ball has collided. Here is the expected result. Now splice the ball from the array when a collision is detected. Use return after splicing the ball. Now, let's add the particle effect when splicing the ball. So copy the ball class function for the ball particles. They are almost similar. decreasing the particle size. The same goes for the particles. Create an array for ball particles and a render function. Now, I am using for loop to render 8 ball particles when a collision is detected. Pass the parameters of the function. It was perfect, right? Do subscribe for this, please. This function will render a random number of balls every second using a set interval. You can copy the array or create your own. Now, a for loop is to render balls using the number of balls. Now, let's proceed to render the bomb. So copy the ball class function for an enemy bomb. Add a red stroke to the ball. Create an enemy bomb array. Copy the ball rendering function and make here a byte change. Call the rendering function in the animate function. Need to fix this stroke. Scroll to the enemy bomb class, then fix these lines. Make balls array and ball particles array to null when colliding with the bomb. And add a logic to render the enemy bomb. Here I made a mistake. Do fix these, please. Count these silly mistakes 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Comment the current time of this video if you are still on this tutorial. Now, here I realize all those mistakes. Fix these all, please. Working as expected, and when we hit the black bomb, the game should pause for 3 seconds. Creating 3 main game variables that will show the status of the game. Set the isGamePause to true when the player touches the bomb and call the alert timer function. Now, scroll to the alert timer function and set the isGamePause to false when the countdown is over. Set a return condition in the start rendering balls interval function if the game is paused not to render balls. Add this condition to the collision detection of the bomb. Collaborate with me and the programmer by joining our new Discord server. Link in description. Now, let's proceed to add a game container. This will contain a score and a high score container. The game count time container. and a strike count container. Make display flex in the CSS file to see the in-game container. Fix this. Change the in-game container from class to ID. Create a function to set a game countdown timer. Set an interval to update the timer every second. Did you notice my mistake here? Comment on this mistake with the current time if you are still with this tutorial. Change the isGameEnd to true and isGameStarted to false, and clear the canvas. Call the start game time function in the play button to start the game. This was the mistake I was talking about. The timer minute is 0 instead of 2. Now, scripting the score updating function. The no of score can also be negative like -5 or any number, so verifying if the score will become 0 when subtracted. Create a score and high score variable. The high score will be set in the local storage. Adding a condition to update the high score when the score is greater than the high score. Here the score is 0 initially. Now test this by adding 1000 to the score. It works perfectly. Now let's add the score when the ball is spliced. Works well, but need to fix this high score. The high score in local storage is set as 1000, so edit this value by inspecting your local storage. Follow these steps. Also, update the score when the player touches the bomb. The high score is acting weird. It's like adding a number to a string. The high score is clear. Now let's quickly do the strike counting logic. Now have a close look at the strike counter. Also, comment your highest strike count in the comment section. This is very important. Please add this visibility change event listener to the canvas. And now, here is the center of attraction part, scripting the sword swish effect. Add two more values that are the previous mouse X and previous mouse Y, and the mouse clicked variable. An event listener to the canvas to detect when the mouse left button is clicked. Set the previous values of mouse positions. And a mouse move event listener sets the values when the mouse is clicked and moving. This console logs only when my mouse is clicked and moving. Create an array of lines array. And a render mouse lines function with for loop. Add a condition to splice the line when the line array length is greater than 4. This was not expected, I forgot to set a begin path in the render function. Now, this works great. Now, create an endgame container. A score p tag and a button to return home. Set this display flex in CSS to see the game end div. Switch this to class. Importing and adding a click event listener to the return home button. Make the endgame container style display flex when the game timer is over in this function. Here's the result when the game ends. Add a condition to clear the interval when the game ends. An extra ball pops up, even when the start rendering ball interval is clear. Need to add a return when clearing the interval. Also, stop the animation when the game ends. Add the score in this endgame score when the game ends. Set the score to 0 when the game starts. Add strike count to the score. Starting with importing sounds and adding them to their particular actions. You will get all these sound effects in the source code link in the description. Time beep sound when the countdown runs. Scripting sword swish sound effect function. Declare a variable for his sound playing. And call the function in the slicing part of the mouse lines. The source was not found means the audio imported is not found. fix this mistake. The sound may not be respective in the video, but it works perfectly off screen. You can try yours. Add return in alert timer condition. This will prevent an extra sound beep in countdown. This is very important. Change this as game end variable to false, or you will not be able to play your game repeatedly. And the game is completed here. Please subscribe and like this tutorial. Thanks for being in this video. Collaborate with me and the programmer. Join our new Discord server. Link in description. Do subscribe and help me to reach 1K subscribers soon. Comment great tutorial with heart means a lot.